Hey, what's up, guys? Today. It's Tuesday, dude. Tuesday. Last on Tuesday and Thursday. Since I haven't been to donate plasma in 6 months, they give me new donor, so getting paid, a good bit to donate my plasma. All right, so yesterday I did some coding in the late evening, and we almost finished implementation of the reworked clicked card logic. We stopped at line 1000 in the game file. So let's go ahead and jump over there and see if we can finish this. Alright, so we have this new section which is replacing the old section, but we also have to integrate this bottom part, which is kind of hard to do since it's detached. You know, the rest of the code. Alright, so before I review everything, let's just read our comments, question comments. We have the later section, which checks self-click card equal to none. Whoa, do we need the, see, this is why you have to be precise in your language, man. That is not the proper language. What I meant to say was, do we need the second half of this and, which checks self-click card is equal to none. I don't know, like, why it would ever, like, I don't know why we would need to check both of these. Maybe think about this for a second. So if clicked a card is equal to true, and we check that obviously because click a card, we don't not logic, but if run logic. Now, as far as clicked card equaling none, I don't know. Like, couldn't we just use one of these or the other? Do we need both of them? And this is not true, actually. It says whenever clicking a card detects if card was clicked and appends it to. This is actually. Oops. We'll just get rid of that comment altogether. How about that? So yeah, the real question I'm asking, I guess, is really, do we need both of these checks? Or could we use only one instead? That is the question. let's figure this out. Let's look first at clicked a card, because this one is okay. So this one is for if we have clicked a card when it's iterating through. This is basically saying, yeah, we have collided with a card and clicked something. So yeah, we do need that one. And then obviously we need the attribute clicked card, but do we have to assign it to none here? Would it not already be reassigned to none somewhere else? That is worth asking, because I know we like to be quote unquote safe, you know, but just being safe, like we're gonna reset the variable just in case it's not reset. We're gonna reset it right here, which is fine, you know. If you want to just slap some code up there and you know, make sure it's gonna run, whatever, like make sure it's gonna get reset, that's fine. But since everything gets transferred, I don't like having redundancies like this. You know, I like it to just be one and done and simple, because then when I'm looking at logs debugging, I'm not going to be wondering, oh, why do we have click card set to none twice? Well, you know, because we have like a failsafe. We added it here, and then hey, it might exist somewhere else, but that's not really best practice. So let's see if it's actually necessary to have clicked card to be set to none right there, or if we can just do that in another place, or if it's already being done in another place rather. Okay, so we do set it to none. Well, obviously, duh, we set it to none. Like, yeah, we're setting it to none right now. That's what we're reviewing. Sometimes I wonder about me, man. Is anyone home? Okay, so click. It's time click card. Alright, this is all like other stuff that contains the namespace that's not actually what we're looking for. Okay, here we go. So we have property, define clicked card. Right, there's our setter. Now, why do we need... Why do we... Okay, right, because val... Yeah, we can... If we tried to call val ID on none, we would get an error. Gotcha. Okay, simple. Alright, this is all... Because that's the line in question. Alright, and this checks both of those. You know what? Maybe before we added this self click card equals none, we would just check for it to none, making sure that we assumed it actually was none. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure it's none. It's a none right before. So dumb again. I'm dumb. Dumb and dumber, bro. Look at me and me being dumb and dumber. Me from yesterday and me today. Which one of them is a little bit smarter than the other one? Me today is a little bit smarter than the other me from yesterday. Just a little bit. So, I notice here I have the if and then the else. See something here? Seeing something here? Yeah. All we gotta do, bro, is check -1. We don't need an else. We would always just grab the last one. If there's only one, matter. Always gonna be this, no matter what. Doesn't matter if the length is 20, if the length is 1. It's gonna be like the only way we would not run this line would be if the list was equal to 0, was empty. And in that case, it wouldn't even enter into this section in the first place. So we don't need this if. We don't need this else. Bam. So it doesn't matter if it's vertical or whatever. It just quite simply, self-click card will always be the last card in the collided cards list because it goes from top to bottom or left to right. And I'll know what I meant by that, which is just a way of saying that yeah. Okay, so I got sidetracked. We were actually looking at clicked card being assigned to none and whether it's assigned somewhere else. If it's already assigned somewhere else, then we don't need to. It's already set to none somewhere else. And we would we don't need to set it again there. So this is, we jumped around. Okay, so this is dealing with the same section in event handler, all within the same if. Okay. Then we go handler A down to this next section all the way down to this one. Yeah, and so none of these are modifying clicked card. Okay, and then we go to draw window main. Alright, so that's, we can just click back over here. Alright. What am I doing? Okay, so we have for current card in click card list. Okay, so here we're checking if clicked card is not equal to none and highlight click card is equal to true. In that case, we would draw a highlighted rectangle around the clicked card. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Card is not equal to none. P1 draw card equals P1 game clicked card. Card is not equal to none. Alright. And this is in the draw 2. We're checking it, then we assign it to the draw card. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Same thing there. And then we are setting the click card to none. Yeah, this needs to happen here. You feel? Yeah. So this needs to happen right here. Because the click card assignment does not always only happen through the event handler situation. This is assigning a click card. Wow. But wouldn't the fact that we... Okay, no, I'm sorry. We're assigning the draw card based on the clicked card. So you know what? We might not have to... Hold up. You. Get out of here. No. There we go. That's better. Yeah, this actually might not be necessary because of the fact that we assign click card back to none at the beginning of this event handler section that we're from. Yeah, so all this is just checking for the clicked card. The card is equal to none. Just thinking about this logic here. So like, all right, we set multiple choice text. I would not like to use this wild card. I would rather have place back. Active set to true. True. So having both here, we can either click a card or we can click the multiple. If we click the multiple choice, then that means the click card should still equal none. Would check if click card is equal to none. That means we chose the option, and that means our meld choice is. I would not like to use this card. We return meld choice. Now I don't know if like we need to return meld choice per se. What does this get returned to? Handler. So let me mark my spot here. 1, 2, 3, 4 probe pi, and we're gonna sidetrack for a second here to what the fuck am I doing here? Yeah, wildcard handler. So let's control F and def wildcard handler. Okay, and we're looking for where that function is called. What was it called? Wildcard meld choice prompt. Isn't that right? Wildcard meld choice prompt. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, wildcard meld choice prompt. So that is called. Let's see. Only right here. All right. And then we check the meld choice and say if meld choice is equal to I would not like to use this wildcard. I mean, it's fine to have it that way, right? Like, it's. We could just say none. Honestly, I would rather just set this to none. Honestly. So we say meld choice is, if we just say is equal to none. Okay, the wildcard will be placed second in your hand. Apparent enough. Like we don't to go, oh, that means we didn't choose a card. That we can do none. It would be way. That's extra. That's really just like extra. So we're gonna get rid of that. Now we're to one and this to none. So if game click card is equal to none, then we'd say meld choice equals none, and then whenever the whatchamacallit function gets returned, it will the meld choice will equal none, and then we just say if meld choice is equal to none. We forgot our colon, then so on and so forth. No big deal, and that wouldn't cause any problems with our elif because the meld choice equaling none, well, if it was equal to none, it wouldn't even go to the elif, right? So yeah, we are good here. That's a little fix we just made, an improvement, I would say. All right, so back to 1, 2, 3, 4, and all right, so here we are. Now, currently the only place that the card is assigned is in that in the event handler, and also when we do the draw card. But I'm kind of questioning the necessity of that. I'm questioning whether we need to do that. Game click card is equal to none. Okay. none. If game click card and meld. Alright, that's all good. You discarded the clicked card. Okay, and that should be fine. Yeah, you have to choose a card. You can't go past there without. Okay, this is just checking to see which your clicked card is. This gets the index of it. You remove the card. Alright, yeah, so we're done with that, and it looks like the only place that we assign clicked card, and we can just make this a lot easier by doing equals here. And if you will notice, it's here, and then it is here. And other than that, it's right here in clicked card progression. My fear is that we don't need this. We set this to none here actually. If every time a card is clicked, it's done in the context of this event handler section, then that means the fact that clicked card gets set to none at the beginning of that section every time, that means it will always equal none whenever it needs to. But as a matter of fact, I don't even know if we need to set the clicked card to none, like at all. Let's say we may need that though, because let's say we didn't set it to none here and we just left it assigned to whatever it was assigned to before. If that was the case, then we would have a clickable card, but let's say this rare case where we actually don't collide with a card in that one scenario, like what was it? It was clicked card gets set to active and it was in progression. So we have this instance here where card is equal to none. Meld. Where is that? It's somewhere, bro. We literally. Oh, no, 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 no. I know what it is. It's the section we just modified. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Let's try that again. So in wildcard meld choice prompt, we have if game.clickCard is equal to none. And so we do check, like we set click card active to true, which is what triggers this section in event handler that we're dealing with, right? Yeah, if self click card active is true and we click something. In that case, we are assuming that we're gonna click a card. But in this case, we actually have multiple choice active as true, and whenever we choose the option to not use the wildcard, that means throughout this section in event handler, we actually did not click a card. So it would go through this section, beginning obviously, and it would set click card to none, click to false, and then it would run this. But since we didn't click a card, okay, we did not click a card, it would go past this without appending anything to the collided cards list. And that means clicked a card would not be true, so it wouldn't enter this section at all. Okay, so in this case, clicked card would not get assigned. Yeah, and then it would go down to the multiple choice active, and then it would handle that accordingly, because we chose the multiple choice text 1 instead of card. And then we go ahead and check to see if game click card is equal to none, because if click card is equal to none, that means we didn't click a card in this section. So we definitely need it to set it to none right here. So this is necessary. Do not remove. Now, the next question is, can we remove every other place that assigns click card to none? And I would say that we could, if the only place that the clicked card gets assigned is in this context, and in this context clicked, well, completely that simple. We have to make sure that anytime clicked card is checked, it would be immediately after this event handler section was run. Basically, if we checked the status, the value of clicked card any other time than in this scenario, and we're not resetting clicked card back to none like in a different place prior to checking that, then we would errantly believe that a clicked card value that is not none, you know, from the last time we ran this section. Like, let's say we run this section after enabling click card active, we click a card, so at that point in time, clicked card equals that card. Now, if we then subsequently check the clicked card without entering back into this section, that would mean we would get returned the previous clicked card from the last scenario. And that's not good code. So we need to make sure that every time clicked card is checked, well, first of all, the only place that it's assigned. So let's see where exactly it's assigned. We already looked at it. We're going to double check. Where is it assigned? It is assigned in event handler to none. Subsequently assigned section where we click the card. Okay. And then it is assigned here in the draw to, and that's it. Okay. And you know what? I think what we could do here, I just realized this. We could simply assign meld choice to none, and then well, no, we might need that to avoid a type error, but yeah, and that's actually more logical. So yeah, we would leave that like that. But yeah, so the only place that it's actually assigned is in the progression. So keep note of that. Okay, so that's one of our requirements, is that it's only assigned in that context. And then the other requirement is that anytime it is accessed in that same context. So now we're just going to look again for all instances of clicked card, and most of these are going to be irrelevant to the actual thing we're looking for, so we'll just scroll through them. Alright, this is the scenario that we're questioning. Alright, so here we're checking it, and this is in this same scenario, so we don't have to worry about that one. Now this is different. This one is checking it in draw window main, and this is checking it to see if it's not equal to none. and self highlight click card is equal. Now event handler, doesn't event handler get called at the beginning of this draw window main function? Okay, so it does. So this is important. Draw window main gets called at the beginning of that function. Okay. Now we get down to here after the draw window main is called, and we check the game state, and then this is for else. So I'm guessing this is like, this would cover the draw to game state section, and we then check to see if the clicked card is not equal to none. If it's not equal to none and the highlight click card is true, we would highlight the clicked card. So this section that checks click card should work correctly as long as click card is only set within that context. Isn't that true? Yeah, because it's only checking the value of it, it's not modifying it, and since the only place it gets modified is in that event handler section, and I'm guessing it starts off at none to begin with. So this was 1262 in game. So let's go all the way to the top real quick and see if I can find. So yeah, it's initially, well, the internal value is set to none. So yeah, that is what it's set to. So if this was the very beginning of the game before that section got called, or it was in the context of the event handler, this section would work properly. We already verified that the only place it gets set is in that event handler section. So either this would be before that section was run ever, but what about the case where this was checked, the clicked card is checked right here, but it was not equal to none because it is still the same value. So this determines whether or not highlight clicked card, the card will get highlighted. The value of click card being set to none depends on this. So then doesn't that mean that after clicked card is set, and we're not using it anymore, shouldn't we immediately set it back to none and not just wait until the next time that that event handler situation gets called? Because wouldn't that mean that it would remain like highlighted as the clicked card? See how many things you have to consider here when you change one little thing. So this depends on highlight click card rather. See this, man. See how many things you have to check, bro. Unbelievable. Okay, so highlight click card is set to true only at this section. It looks like. Let's keep going. It's set to false after it is set to true, and if the only place that is set to true is that one section, then that's the on switch. It's a one on switch, and this is the one off switch. That means we would be safe clicked card not being reset after it was no necessary, like needed, because highlight click card being true only happens in that instance, and that means right immediately after, because this gets called immediately after that section, it would enter into this, and it would highlight that card, and then it would change the highlight click card boolean back. Now, unless that is changed anywhere else, be good. And look. Alright, it looks like it's not. Okay, so relative to that question, clicked card does not need to be reset back to none after it is no longer needed before the next event handler section for clicked card active is run. Okay, I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot. It is. Let's keep going here. We're almost done. We have to be thorough, and it is a lot to consider. Alright, so the final question was, are all the places wherein we access click card in the context of this event handler? And that's the last thing we have to check, which we're doing right now. And that is gonna be the clicked card getter. Moving on. Okay. This is the section we're questioning about. Nightmare, nightmare, nightmare. Alright, then we have highlight click card set to true, blah 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 blah. This is directly associated with the previous section. I will add a note right here, and I will say 10, 15, 24 verified the logic of this section. Everything checks out 100%. Do not debit. Do not change. Alright, now also put a little note that says this is the only place. It's always good to date comments. It's good practice. This is the only place that this boolean is set to false. True. True, true, true. Alright, so remember what we're doing. We're making sure the only time it's checked is in that context of click card active and a card being clicked. Okay. And this is that context. Alright. So this right here, this should be in the context of click card active being true, right? Yeah, so we changed click card active to true, so that is in that context. Moving on. That is the one at question. We might remove this. We're probably going to remove that one. And then this should be in the context of click card active, which it is. We have click card active set to true right here. Alright. Same thing here. It's in that context, as you can see. Same thing here. It's in that context. Same thing here. And same thing here. True, it's in that context. Something here, yeah. Alright, cool, we're done. You did it, alright. All this to say, we can get rid of a couple lines of code, and we verified the logic associated with the click card. So now we know our logic is clean, everything looks good, it got a review, and it checked out. We do need this line, which sets it to none, and not only that, but that line, making it set to none, is implicitly making sure that we always get a proper read of what the clicked card is. Put this note here, I forgot that. Leave place this set to true, so we know. Alright, so yeah, now we can But do we need this because of the fact that we rerun it? So like, if we have to pick another one, if they have click card, both choosing a valid draw card. But I thought that we had see, that's the question. If this is required because of the fact that we will rerun this section. Let's see. For current card and master deck, we append all of them to the clickable card. Then we check to see if the card is not equal to none. Okay. Would be set to none because of this line being run. At least initially. Now if it like goes back to this again, running this part, that would be where we had a problem. Because then it would card equal to none. And then it would errantly enter into this section. Okay. Because sometimes, let's see, is it not equal to none? Set the card. Okay, so then we pick a draw card. But what if it's not a valid draw card? Isn't that like a thing? Isn't there a thing where we can pick a card that's a wild card and then it won't let us use it? Or did we change that? Let's see. So we go to draw 3. So you have the exact same card. You both must pick another card. So in this case, it would rerun the draw 2, which would rerun this entire function, which means it would recall click card active, which is fun because that's what we're relying upon, right? So far we're safe. Text design function, enter contain text function, return draw card. Okay, if testing is equal to true, return the deal. Return the deal. Okay. It's equal. Okay, then we go off of suit. It's the same. And there are 2 decks, so technically we could have the same suit as well as the rank. So this is if the rank was the same, and then we check the suits, and this would be where P1's was greater, else we say P2's was greater. But since we're using 2 decks, theoretically we would have the we would have 2 like King of Hearts, right? So if they both had a King of Heart, then it would go to the else and it would give it to player 2. But it shouldn't, it should give it to player 1. I mean, it should do this again, this section right here. It should say you have the exact same card. Well, no, okay, so this checks for that first. If P1 draw card rank, P1 draw card suit is equal to P2 draw card rank, P2 draw card suit. Okay, so yeah, if we have the exact same card, that gets handled first. And we end up recalling the draw 2. But, see, I'm not always dumb. And then return draw card is fine. That has nothing to do with what we're worried about. And then we have the deal, 3 check, click card. Anyway, yeah, we're good. Like, this is fine. This section here would only ever get run in the context of this entire function being called again. It's not going to, like, if you click a card here and it's not a valid card for whatever reason, and I think we did modify it to where you can't actually choose a wild card during this section, like they're not even available. So the only risk is that you would pick the same exact card. And in the case that you picked the exact card, it would recall the draw to function. It wouldn't just re-enter into this while loop after clicked card got set to something else, like card while loop. Now to this while, as long as one of them hasn't clicked their card, you then click your card, you get your draw card. It is so that at this point click card is not equal to none anymore. Then it's gonna go to this one and the same thing's gonna happen. It's never going to click card not equal to none. Like it's never gonna set click card and then rerun this section in a context that would expect you to so this is fine. There is no logical flaw related to all this stuff, as far as I can tell. Yeah, and like I said, you would then go to this while loop. After that, we reset them back to none, but we might not need to do that. That's what we're asking about. And then we go to the draw 3 and we would draw card bow, P2 draw card bow. If they were equal, we would just rerun the draw 2 again completely. And when the click of each game to true, that would automatically set click card back into this section to check it. You would be safe. Okay. So we don't actually need this at all. Well, actually, I'll comment it out, and I'll put a noting that we enabled this after necessity review, deemed unnecessary. Clicked card is always set back to none. Card well, actually, whenever whenever click card active was set to true and the player subsequently clicked a card. Therefore, it is redundant. So I'll just leaving just in case we suspect it was necessary. And now, so we can continue to go through the rest of these in progression to verify. Yeah, we verified all of them already because these are automatically like apparent. It's apparent that they're in the context of click card active. This is all safe code. Alright, we're done. There we go. That was a long process, man. Oh. So now we go back over here. After review, I mean, this is how you get rid of dead code, and this is how you make sure your project is clean. It takes time, and you have to be very thorough. It really is. It's just the way it is. So where are we at here? We need to go back up to 1, 2, 3, 4. And this, no, that's not right. It's def even. Right here. This is the section that we're at. We need both. We only one instead. Yeah, we need both of them. Yep, we need them both. So we know the answer to that. I mean, obviously, we'll put this is the only place clicked card is set back to none. Yeah, and that's and this is necessary. It's the only place the card is set back to none. It is necessary because of associated logic in regression pi, which relies on this values to none for its proper logical flow. So other than that though, I'm not sure it's actually necessary. But we're like that just for a split second. If I decide that it's not necessary, like that we could just use a different variable or something. Well, no, it's necessary for this section too. Because if it was never reset back to none, then we wouldn't, like, you know what I mean? We wouldn't be able to check it against. We wouldn't really be able to check it, you know? Right here. What would we check it against? Like, what would the reference be? Because it would always be not equal to none if we never set it to none. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be checked to see if we clicked a card, right? That's the only time we want to enter into this section. So this, it being set to none, is necessary for that logic. It's also necessary for this logic. I think that's the only place, two places. But I don't think we could fix it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if there's a way to use a different mechanism. Like, I don't know if we could check, because what we're checking here is if they have clicked a card. That's really what we're checking. And creating another, like, we could create another boolean which would just have the same function. That would be like, it'd be the same thing. It would just be even more complicated because we're dealing with another boolean altogether. So yeah, we're gonna leave that. I don't. Yeah, I can't think of a better option, and I don't want to spend any more time on it. So we're gonna leave that as it is. We're not gonna remove this. It's gonna stay. It's necessary. Do not remove. Blah 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 blah. It's necessary because of associated logic in prog.py. In a couple of places, which relies on this value to being returned for logic. Right. So therefore, we can finally continue. So then we say, do we need the second half of this if and, which checks the card is equal to none, and we do need it. Click card is equal to true and click card is equal to none. Yep, so we need both of those, or do we actually? Because in the context of this section, clicked card I'm not sure about this. Hold up. Let's think about this for a second. So if clicked a card obviously has to be checked. But do we need to also check click card equals none? Because if clicked a card is true, and it's going to have to be true in this instance, then that would mean clicked card if we did click a card, well, if we enter into this section at all, from the beginning of this section, clicked card is equal to none. So, like, of course it's going to be equal to none. How would it ever enter into this section and not be equal to none? It would always be equal to none. Isn't that true? I mean, obviously, yeah, it's set to none here, and then 8 lines later, whatever, 10 lines later, we're checking it. Of course it's set to none. So this is not necessary. We only need to check clicked a card. See this extra dead code? It will confuse you. It's like, why is that there? I just spent like almost a solid hour reviewing code that was basically dead. Like it, well, it actually wasn't dead. That and section was dead. But it will make you think that the code has to be like that complicated. And it just will confuse you in the future when you look at it and it's like, oh well, it must need to be that complicated, and then you find out no, it doesn't. It doesn't need to be that complicated. It's actually more simple. So now whenever I look at this section in the future, it's gonna be way simpler. Bam, straight to the point. Added for testing related click card. So this can remain. This is for the collided cards dict. We'll remove that after. Then we assign click card. It will always be the last card in the collides card list. Yeah. So now we can remove the collided cards dict, but I'm actually gonna take my break right now. So it's a break. 414 2 XX. Alright, so I'll be back in a couple minutes. Yeah, buddy, and we'll finish another section. We can get this completely here. This takes a while because you have to be when you're so. And you know what? I'm actually gonna take a like I'm just gonna take a complete break. I'm gonna eat dinner and then I'm gonna come back dinner. It's like make the most of my little break time and eat, and then and we'll finish the last section of this, and then we'll do some testing. So I'll be back in an hour or so.